We're just excited about all the program success.
And we're ready to get started. Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Mallory Chapman Show. Currently joined by Wheeling University head softball coach Mallory Chapman. And Mal, it's been a while since we talked. You had your spring trip, and then you also had a doubleheader against Walsh here on Wednesday. Talk about the last week and a half and kind of some of the things you saw from your team.
Yeah, our spring trip in Florida, we played 10 games in about 6 days, so that was a little test for us as well. But I think we learned a lot. We grew. There was games that maybe we should have won, but you learn from those experiences and you come back and you work on it to get better. So we learned a lot in Florida. Enjoyed the sunshine, of course, and then we came back and played Walsh on Wednesday and got a split with them. So I think, we're kind of turning the corner, I think, where we need to be right now heading into conference this weekend.
And as you guys get ready for conference, as you said, talk about some of the things you've learned through this non-conference schedule that you guys are going to take into that MEC push.
Yeah, I think we've just learned a lot about ourselves, one, in the face of adversity, because softball is a game of failure, so you got to learn how to deal with that. So we've learned how we handle those situations, but I also think that we're just learning a lot about ourselves in the way of just our fight and our grit and what we need to do to win games. We talked a lot in Florida about doing the things that make us successful, and I think that we're starting to do those things more consistently, but we just have to find our groove.
And in the circle, you've had a breakout pitcher here over the last week and a half in Kaylin Shields. Made her debut with a big way against Davenport, 7 innings in that game. Talk about her and kind of her impact on that pitching team.
Yeah, Kaylin's just a dog. She very much goes out there and throws her game. She doesn't feed into anything that the other team is doing. She trusts herself and all the work that she's put in, and I think she's just very excited to play softball, and I love that. And all of our girls are like that. You can just tell when they take the field that they love playing the game, and their energy and their intensity is something to be said, for all the success that we've had so far. But Kaylin especially, man, in the circle, she just ignites something in the rest of our team, and I just love watching it.
And then on the offensive side, we've talked about her a little bit already this year, but Amber Morgan really had a big week in Florida. Talk about her and kind of how she's stabilizing that number 3 spot.
Yeah, I think moving her to that 3 spot was probably a good decision for us as a coaching staff, just because she's been so consistent with runners on, just hitting people in, getting those RBIs that are, super important early in the game. And her mindset is just to go up there and do her job, and she's done that consistently, and I think that's why, she's been very deserving of all the attention and the, appreciation that she's gotten from our team, but from, other coaches have come up to me after games and really complimented her as well. So I think, just her demeanor and how she plays softball is what you would expect.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head softball coach Mallory Chapman. And Mal, as you said, you're getting into MEC play this week. Talk a little bit about the conference. You have new team Point Park coming in who we're going to see this weekend. Talk about the conference as a whole and some of the things you're going to see from them.
Yeah, the conference, it's always tough. These schools in the MEC are very competitive, and there's not a game that, you can walk into and think one way or the other what's going to happen. So you just got to go out and play your best ball because everybody's going to bring their A game. We're excited to, have Point Park a part of our conference now, being, only an hour away makes travel a lot easier. So, we're just excited to get going and compete. And we had a really, really good talk at practice the other day about what this means starting this weekend as far as who's playing the first weekend of May. So it's important that we go out and play our game and hopefully come out with a few wins.
And looking at this weekend, you have Point Park and Salem here on Saturday and then Salem on Sunday. Talk about these two teams and kind of how you match up.
Yeah, I think, we've kind of scouted both teams out, obviously. Point Park, they're a strong team top to bottom. Salem the same way. So I think as long as we go out and play Wheeling softball, do what we know how to do as far as, our pitching, play good defense, hit like we have been, I think we're going to be okay.
And finally, one more week on the road before you return home next weekend. Talk about how your girls have been handling this road stretch and kind of how you're going to handle it to start conference play.
Yeah, I think these games on the road have really helped us as far as, coming into this weekend and going forward through the rest of the season. When you can get a win on the road and the traveling that we've done and all the things like that, I think it just makes you a better team. While we were a little bit tired coming back from Florida, we still found a way to get a win against Walsh. So I think that speaks a lot to our girls as far as they know that whether we're home or away, we got to go out and get the job done.
Thanks, Mal. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thanks, Zach.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
We're just excited about all the program success.
And we're ready to get started. Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.